Did that for me. I'm a little tall. And okay, ready? Don't be nervous. There's nothing to be nervous about. Nobody watches.
You're back with Matt and Bethany on AG Today.
Still frozen, I'm assuming, right? Yeah. I'm going to throw all the shit out the window. That's what I'm going to do.
Why? You can't get out the window.
I'm going to bring it downstairs and throw it in the dumpster. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Our guest today is Rebecca, and she is from Civil War Tales, which is over on Baltimore Street. Rebecca, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. So, okay, I've been in there twice, and every time I go in, I'm thoroughly impressed by what you do because I know the amount of work that goes into doing something like this, and I can't imagine myself having that much patience and focus. And I used to, but I don't anymore. And so I'm really impressed that you do it. But there's so many pieces in one of these dioramas. Mm-hmm. Is it technically a diorama? Is that what they are?
Yeah, that's what we think. That's what a diorama is.
I think I agree with you. So where did this come from? This goes back to childhood, right? Like you did this as a kid.
Yeah, so we started, we being my twin sister Ruth and I, we started making our cat soldiers when we were 11. Okay. And it really just kind of happened. I read biographies on Generals Lee and Grant, and then I liked the two generals, so I made them out of clay because we were always fiddling with modeling clay. But we also always had cats as pets growing up. And so we always catified everything. And so Lee and Grant automatically came out as cats in uniform with beards. Yeah. and then we got into the Civil War, so it just took off. We kept making them and started doing dioramas a couple years into it.
So, so when you made your first diorama, what was it?
So it's actually, the first one is Stonewall Jackson getting his nickname at First Bull Run. Okay. So it's fun looking back over that and seeing that even the first scene that we set up was telling one of the stories that caught our interest. And that's always been what has inspired the dioramas.
So you weren't just, from the beginning, you weren't just making a generic battle scene. You were doing a specific piece vignette from a battle.
For the first couple years, they were our toys fighting our other toys. Yeah, but being non-hardening modeling clay, eventually we got tired of fixing up the saddles and bridles on cavalry horses after cavalry battles. So that's why we started doing the stationary scenes. But yes, those are based off of stories.
And how many, have you ever sat down and figured out how many figures you've created in your life?
So we do have a census. We started keeping that around Y2K because we were approaching Cat 3000. So we don't know who Cats 1 and 2000 are, but Cat 3000 was placed on Battery Wagner. He's part of the 54th Massachusetts. Wow. At midnight on Y2K. We had to take the diorama to a friend's house. So while everybody else was banging pots and pans in the driveway, we were putting Cat 3000 on our diorama.
Care less, right? That's amazing.
Our census is over 10,000 now. We hit 10,000 last year.
Oh my gosh. I had no idea.
Yeah, no. Have you've been in there, right? Uh-huh. Yeah. I mean, which of all the scenes that you have depicted, which one has the most figures in it?
So the most is Pickett's Charge, the angle at Pickett's Charge. It has 3,000. Little round top, the diorama is bigger, but we didn't quite hit 3,000. It's 2,650 on it.
Still, you had to make all those.
Yeah.
And the horses are horses or the horses are dogs?
No, they're all horses. And so you can tell that...
the cats ride dogs.
You can tell that we didn't really think about it. There's no deeper meaning. So looking back on it, we realized that playing outside as kids... As Robin Hood, we were always cats, and the imaginary bad guys, the Sheriff of Nottingham and all of them, were always dogs. And so that's not because we don't like dogs. We have one now. But that's just because cats and dogs don't get along. And so since both Lee and Grant came out as cats, you can tell I liked both of them. So it wasn't cats versus dogs. And then since I didn't think about it, I just automatically, I just made them and they automatically came out as cats. We weren't like, oh, hey, let's do, General Lee as a cat and General Grant as a cat. Hey, we should do, riding dogs. It was just, they came out and they ride horses and we like horses. So they, have horses and cannons and all that. We do have one clay dog. He's a dog. He's not a soldier.
And which one is that in?
He's in a little scene with a photographer. He's not anybody specific, but we have a group of soldiers getting their photo taken with their mascot. So
that's adorable. Now, is your sister's nerdiness also the Civil War?
Well, see, we're twins, so we do everything together. And so she kind of got drugged into this by me.
Right.
So I would make the Confederates. She would make the Yankees. She likes doing buildings. I like doing ships. So, we do it together. And now that we're older, it's fun seeing how we're different. And like, even with making the dioramas, we like different things. But our other hobbies are slightly different too. Very similar, but slightly different.
So what year did you open?
We opened fall of 2015.
2015. Oh, so 10 years. You're coming up
so
on.
This year we celebrate 30 years of making our cats come June, and come Labor Day, it's 10 years of the museum, 10,000 cats and one dog.
Wow.
So
that's crazy. Awesome. And how many horses?
We're approaching 800. It's 789, I think, right now.
I mean,
that's not counting ones we've squashed in over the years. Did it for the cats.
You have you depict the fight out on East Cavalry Field.
Yep.
And there was something. I remember we went in there. This was years ago, so I don't remember specifically what it was, but there was something that off with one of the horses. One of the horses is like you were saying. Can you pick out the one that we bought? I think it was
East Cavalry Field. We have 20 store-bought horses on that one. So, and over 300, clay horses. And so people have fun picking out the 20 store-bought ones.
Were the store-bought ones out of some kind of necessity, or?
No, we grew up in a good time frame when there were good model horses for sale cheap at Toys R Us. And so for a few years, our birthday Christmas lists were model horses for our cavalry. But we would also make clay ones too. So now, for the cavalry battle where they're galloping, we weeded out the standing horses and stuff and retired them and just kept the running ones. So it just works out that's 20.
So how did you go from this is something that you and your sister did as like a fun little hobby to, hey, let's open a museum in Gettysburg? Because that's a
big
pretty leap. Well, it's a leap, but it's a leap of faith too, right? That this is going to work.
Yeah.
Like, so what happened? How'd you do that?
So in high school, we were homeschooled. So in high school, we started doing Civil War lessons to other homeschooled students. And so we used our dioramas as visual aids, and the kids really enjoyed seeing them. And then we also started working at a retirement community. And so we were just wait staff in the restaurant, but one day a year we would take our dioramas over and put them on display for the residents to see. And they really enjoyed seeing them too. And so college, I started kind of toying with the idea, not really thinking that we could start a museum, but you take some small business courses anyway. And then there was one resident who every year was like, you should take these into schools. And so finally in 2012, I listened to her and started considering the possibility and decided that a museum would be better.
So you never took them into schools, or you did for a while?
No, because by 2012 we had Pickett's Charge, which is
huge.
Yeah, 5.5 by 7.5 feet. We knew Little Round Top would be 11 feet long.
Jeez.
And Fort Sumter's really heavy because of all the clay we put on the walls. And so it's just one of those things where they're getting bigger and bigger. We're like, maybe we should bring the kids to the dioramas instead of the other way around.
So Little Round Top is 11 feet.
Yeah.
And so is it like got its own room in there? Because
yeah, when we first opened the museum, we were just using half of the first floor. Then a few years later, we expanded over. And as soon as we rolled Little Round Top into the big room, it just decided to grow. It didn't, but it looked like it grew. I was like, this is my room. We're like, can we put anything in with you? Nope, this is my room.
It's just me.
So it can squish to the side. We can, but it's happy in the middle of the room.
11 feet by what?
4'8". Yeah. Take a doorway and multiply it out.
Yeah.
Because it's in 6 sections.
Right. Oh, yeah. Oh, I remember when you were working on, that's when I was in there. You were I don't know if you had just started it, but it was a work in progress. It wasn't finished.
Yeah. We started it in 2013 and then unexpectedly bought the house and moved out here to open the museum. So the diorama has been on hold for a good bit. So we just finished it last February, a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So it's
So
been
that's
in the works for a while.
really, yeah, it has. Because, yeah, you had it out in the,
Yeah.
and I guess you work on it right there in the museum. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably easier than lugging it around.
I mean, we didn't have anywhere else to put it.
Yeah, right.
So how long does it take you to make a figure?
Yeah.
We figure it's about 10 or 15 minutes. I think they were a little bit faster when we were kids, probably more like 7 minutes, but
I'm
they've
sorry.
gotten slow.
Do you know how long it would take me to make a figure?
Well, in our defense, we started at a size that was comfortable for us. So the original ones are about 2.5 inches tall. And then when we started doing dioramas and wanting them to scale, we already had pickets charge, and you can't fit the whole Confederate line on your bedroom floor if they're 2 inches tall and it's to scale. So we had to make the cat smaller and the diorama bigger. And now we're down to 3/4 of an inch tall.
Yeah. These are really tiny. And, I mean, the paintbrushes must be really small, like 2 hairs.
So fortunately, for the most part, they're colored clay.
Oh.
So the old non-hardening clay that we started off with was colored. And then we switched to Sculpey. That's what we use now. Sculpey is nice because you can bake it off in the toaster oven. And Sculpey 3 is nice because it's colored. So some of the early Sculpey guys we had to paint, but
And you're not using any molds for these or anything, huh?
no, just our fingers.
How about the caissons and the cannon? Are they clay too that you're making?
The
or?
wheels are clay, the gun barrel's clay, the limber chest and the gun
Hold
carriage
on.
is wood.
You do those wheels by hand?
Yeah.
How? How do you get the spokes
You roll
like
it
that?
out. Well, the harness on the horse is also rolled out clay.
Oh my God. Yeah, I don't have that patience to be that meticulous. Wow. That is so impressive. Now, what is it? May I hold that and show
Yeah,
the camera?
yeah.
Okay.
Because you know
Yeah,
where the
people-
cameras are, and I
Yeah.
Don't understand how detail oriented this actually is.
Yeah. Now, what is this depicting?
So that is a limber team that we had made for Hazlitt's battery coming up Little Round Top. So we
Okay.
made the horses, they're pulling strenuously and all that, and then we changed our minds and decided that we wanted gun number 3, which is the only one that came up under horsepower, to already be on the crest and unlimbering the cannon. So we didn't need pulling horses
Okay,
anymore. So we
okay.
decided to make a little traveling mini diorama. And so that's them, which also meant then I had to make another cannon and limber for the diorama. So
Wow, look at that. And the detail of the parrot gun and oh my God.
And they're historically accurate.
yeah.
Like that's what I always tell the kids is like, if you go over there, it's not like it's just like my version
No.
of a diorama
Like
where I'm making it up.
The harnesses and then the saddles. And, geez.
I think that's what makes it nice for like the Civil War buffs and licensed battlefield guides and all, also because they appreciate the historical
nerdiness.
detail and yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do
the
guides
nerdiness.
bring their tours in when they have kids and show them? And
They don't bring them in, but we do have a few guides I think that mention us, which is nice.
yeah, that is
Yeah.
nice. Well, I mean, it's a great tool for kids to learn because, cats.
Yeah.
They love cats.
Because
And
you
it's
know,
also
cats.
helpful for people who aren't into the history. So the cats make it a little more fun. So they come in, but then, either they leave wanting to learn more about the history because now they're intrigued, or we've had several people usually when they're looking at Little Round Top comment that now it's clicked what they were hearing when they were taking the battlefield tour or when their friend was telling them about the fighting on Little Round Top or something and they didn't quite understand, but now seeing it on the diorama that it finally makes sense.
Yeah.
And so it's really helpful that they can help people understand like that too.
You're currently in your winter hours,
Yeah.
but that ends in April.
Yeah. So April 1st, we switched to our summer hours.
All right, which are 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
And then you're closed Sunday and Wednesday.
yeah. And Saturday is 10 to 8.
How come you don't close 2 days in a row so you have a nice weekend for yourself?
Because we don't work on Sunday and Wednesday was when our Bible study was. So it's very practical because when I used to work, when we first moved out here, I worked at the Wyndham Hotel in the restaurant. And so I would get off at 3. So our museum hours were like 3 o'clock to,
Yeah.
whatever. And so we'd only be open for a couple hours, and then I'd have to close again for supper.
So now, is this your only job? You don't do Wyndham or anything else now? So it's replaced your need to work at another job?
Yeah, so I do the museum full-time. Ruth is still a full-time lawyer with Steve Rice Law.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot she's a lawyer. Yeah, I knew that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know her, but I know that.
Yeah, because usually she's at work when I get to do these things.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. It sounds like you got the fun side of the bargain.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. No, so what types of people typically come into the museum?
I would say it's a full range. I would say probably for the most part, it's 30-somethings, without kids, but they're out here for the experience, or like a pour tour or something, like, I don't know. But I mean, we really get the whole gamut, whether it's families with kids, licensed battlefield guides, everybody in between, cat people, history buffs. It's a lot of fun being able to reach, a wide range of different people for different reasons, and they can all like them.
Right.
And then it's always fun, like when someone comes in thinking they won't like it, and then they end up loving it.
It's hard to explain. I'm not going to lie. It is hard to explain because people think you're making it up. And I always...
Yes, which is what's so great about it, is at first they think you're joking. And you're like, no, really.
Like,
and
legit.
then you got to go in and look at it.
You have to go look.
It's not funny.
We have had a couple people who comment either that they saw it come up on social media, thought it was fake news, or they show up and they're like, I had to come and see if it really existed. And we're like, you exist.
Yeah, you exist.
And then others come and they're like, oh, I'm so glad it's clay cats. I thought they were taxidermied. I'm like, no, they're not.
Oh God,
Right?
that would be twisted. Yeah.
No.
So when Little Round Top was closed, did you close the Little Round Top display?
No, but we did start racing the Park Service because we were like, we are never going to finish this diorama if we don't start focusing on it. So we're like, we're going to race that. So neither of us made it by the deadline. We both ran late, but we beat the Park Service by like a smidge.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot you were working on it still when that was closed.
That's funny.
So now somebody was asking if they come down like next weekend. So the winter hours, which are still in, are 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Saturday, closed Sunday and Wednesday. So it's similar, but not the same. Yeah, it's just the afternoon. So just remember that. And then April 1st starts the summer hours. God, summer can't get here fast enough, I'm telling you.
And if you can't remember that, we do have them posted on our website,
which is Civil War Tales, TAILS.com. And don't confuse that with Civil War Trails, totally different organization. You can email them info@civilwartales.com, or you can call 717-420-5273. Rebecca, thank you very much for coming on. Good luck with this. Your continued success. This is really cool. We'll try to come in. Cindy, you haven't seen it yet, have you? No, we're going to go in this year and see it. So that's it. You should go in too, ladies and gentlemen. And until you do, you're going to have to listen to this commercial. We'll be right back after these words. Thank you, Rebecca.
If you like this podcast and what we're doing here, please like, share, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of the upcoming interesting history podcasts here at Addressing Gettysburg. It really helps the channel, and it's completely free. That's the best thing. It's completely free. Please help us make our goal of 25,000 subscribers by Memorial Day. Thank you very much.